Hi, this is Pat Moorhead with More Insights and Strategy, and I'm here for another More Insights and Strategy podcast. And I'm here with a very awesome person that I've had many conversations with, Ken Wong, President, Lenovo Solutions and Services Group, otherwise known as SSG. Ken, how are you doing?
Hey, hi, Patrick. Thanks for having me here. I'm doing good.
No, it's absolutely, I really appreciated the conversations that we've had together, and you guys are moving faster at Lenovo when it comes to SSG, and we've spoken before about what you called a services-led transformation, and that's really going on today at Lenovo, and your team is really at the center of that transformation. And here we are. We're coming up on the first anniversary of Lenovo Solutions and Services Group. And I think that a great place to start would be, you can tell our viewers about why Lenovo decided to create this organization and how it's really changed the way Lenovo works and engages with its customers and partners.
Hey, thank you, Patrick. I think that is a great question. So why did we create the Solution and Services Group, or SSG? The answer is very simple. It is simply because our customers need it more than ever, right? So, Patrick, I think you have been covering Lenovo for a long time.
Long time.
So I know you are aware that a couple of years ago, Lenovo embarked on a quest to transform the company from one of the largest IT hardware producers in the world to a global leader in technology and solutions, right? So if we look back, the pandemic accelerated digital transformation by 3 to 4 years. I think a lot of people are saying that like even 5 or 10 years. Now, the key thing is the pace continues today as we enter the endemic phase. So we saw the world moving towards hybrid or flexible work, for example. And technology, in particular IT technology, has become strategically and critically more important for any organization to grow and to innovate. Now, when we look at this transformation at global scale has led to what we call a Lenovo, the new IT. Now, it stretches from device to edge to cloud to network to intelligence. Now, when we look at new IT, it is on one hand super powerful, right? But also very complex. So our mission at Lenovo is to empower organizational leaders to harness the full potential of technology so that they can turn their vision into reality. As you said, we established Lenovo to bring together our best offering across the company, from pocket to the cloud, from hardware, software, and services, with simply one objective, is to help our customers to achieve their desired outcomes and to address the underlying business needs. So, while we leverage our decades of our own innovation, IP, and of course, heritage in our hardware to deliver the best solutions, we also work closely with our extensive ecosystem of channel partners. Now, in my opinion, our flexible and open approach has really allowed the company to provide the most complete, productive, and intuitive suite of customer solutions and services, just as our customers need them most. When we look at today, and we're in an increasingly complex IT environment. And when we talk to the enterprises, right, they just need simple, flexible solution that can scale rapidly. Patrick, I have been on the ground all the time, so I talk to a lot of CIOs. I think my key takeaway is that all the CIOs they are expecting the tech requirement will change in a very fast pace, right? 12 to 18 months for sure. And when business need to adapt quickly to external forces, they are increasingly, right, turning to as a service subscription model for delivery of hardware, services, and software, right? Like in Lenovo, we have the true scale portfolio, which offers company all the sizes, the flexibility, and the agility that they need. Let me share some data here, right? We recently have done a research, with the CIOs around the world. And one of the data point is that 92% of the CIO would consider adding new as a service offering over the next 2 years. And that compared to the previous year, only 60%, about 60% of the company are using device as a service in their tech stack. So this is simply because, the business leader would rather focus their resources and time on innovation and value creation rather than managing IT.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we have unprecedented external change and change that companies want to make themselves. And there's just not enough people, there's not enough resources. So you're absolutely right. People are looking to everything as a service, no matter where you are in tech, whether it's on client computing, the edge, or even for the data center, right? There's no question about that. And the exciting thing, I think, in what you're doing is that, you've got such a broad line of offerings. And I do believe there is value in services to the folks that bring the hardware. But I'd like to have you talk about your differentiation. Lenovo's relatively new to the managed services space, and there's a lot of established companies that are there that have been competing there for a long time. And I'm curious, what do you bring to the table that will allow you to compete better with the incumbents in managed services?
Well, thank you, Patrick. I think that is a great question, right? This is probably one of the most popular questions that I encounter when I go around the region, talk to analysts, report, and our customer. So, although Lenovo is relatively new to managed services, we are a global technology powerhouse, right, with more than 35 years of experience powering customers through devices and infrastructure and empowering them through services and solutions. Now, what sets us apart is, as you said, Lenovo's portfolio of offering from device to cloud, and arguably the broadest in the industry. So whatever outcomes our customers envision, we can help them to achieve them ourselves or through our extensive network of ecosystem partners, and combine that without true scale as a service consumption model. We are in a great position to respond to the growing needs, as I said, about simplicity, flexibility, and scalability of new IT, right? Second, if you follow us close enough, right? Last September, we launched our True Scale brand of as a service offering, right? You're very aware. I think this is to provide a modern consumption experience for IT technology that we all have in Lenovo. So today, we like to say that if we can sell it, we can true scale it, right? From hardware to infrastructure and all the things that you can get from Lenovo. Now, this new flexible consumption models really allows our customer to tie their IT consumption more directly to the value it delivers, right? So it provides the flexibility to scale their IT environment up or down as their needs change. And it is the ideal model for helping customers support the circular economy. And third is about our partnership, right? Particularly with our channel partners, such as resellers and distributors. They have provided a unique foundation to develop technology with real practical application that solve our customers' challenges. Now, our focus in Lenovo is outcome-focused approach to innovation and technology from, for example, design to integration to implementation, which we believe is also a differentiator. So we aim to unleash, as I said at the beginning, to unleash the power of technology for our clients and in the competitive landscape.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel bad. I think I answered a third of the question that I asked you, but that's good that I know it, right? And hopefully other analysts and folks out the outside world understand, because I do think there's a benefit from having handsets to the data center. If nothing else, it's a consistent experience for people in the enterprise. And I think I think that's very, very important. And I also believe that the amount of data that you can pull from the hardware that, by the way, you know very well because you've created it, I believe in the future will be one of the most important things to be tracking, getting all of the data off of the device to see how healthy they are. Are they being used right? Are they being overused, underused? I think that really is going to be the wave of the future. And having that consistent experience, while you're leveraging those channel partners will be key as well. So I always like to come up with these reasons to believe that a company is serious about something, right? And you made a move in SSG that was super intriguing. And you essentially moved Lenovo's internal IT organization into SSG's Solution Development Group. And now Lenovo's CIO, Art Hu, is wearing another hat as SSG's CTO. So can you talk a little bit about that move and what does it mean to Lenovo Solutions and Services customer? Really a cool move, by the way.
Hey, thank you, Patrick. I think thanks for giving me the chance to share with your audiences, right, about this move, right? This is atypical, right, as you said. So now let me spend some time here. So the integration of the Lenovo IT group into SSG, and especially the creation of the SSG CTO role, has really helped us to turbocharge our innovation, right? We made this decision to align with our vision of what we called Lenovo powers Lenovo. And which means we use our own internal IT experiences and capability to drive the digital transformation for our customers, right? Now, in Lenovo, we realized that, as a global technology company, we are solving for the challenges that companies everywhere are facing, right? Whether they are large, multinational corporation or small individually owned businesses, right? So challenges, for example, in adapting to the flexible work, implementing hybrid cloud, or managing a complex supply chain are very, very common among today's businesses. So this allows us to put ourselves in our customers' shoes and really understand how these solutions will fit their needs. We then what we have done is we then test these solutions rigorously before they go to the market. So Lenovo's IT group has been, as you know, has been an innovation engine for a long time, developing solution, right? Internal solution. What I said is to fuel the company's transformation, right? So in the past, those innovation they only stayed in-house, solving the challenges of our company. But now we are really making them available to our customer as well. So now, this sounds a little bit abstract and unreal. So let me give you, a few examples, right, about, how this works. So the first example is we created our artificial intelligence solution to reduce the PC production planning, right, from 6 hours to just 90 seconds. And this is a process. This is a process which involves thousands of employees' schedules, as you can imagine, what is happening in the factories, right? 300,000 of different material, unique production processes, equipment availability, and even changing torrent of orders, right? So the good news is these capabilities are now being leveraged to help our customers to build world-class manufacturing and global supply chain capabilities. Now, the other example, right? I talk about how hybrid cloud. Let me pick an example about hybrid cloud. Now, the Lenovo internal cloud or hybrid cloud is really complex and complicated, right? And the reason is very simple, because we are operating in more than 180 markets today. Right, and we inevitably has to deal with the different tech stacks around the world, like Azure, GCP, AWS, and in the East we have Tencent, Alibaba, Baidu, right? Now, exactly our experience in building and managing a hybrid cloud environment involve all the tech stack, right? The experience and also the IP that we have developed, now is becoming one of the most sought after offering in our key markets. Customers are really coming back to Lenovo and ask, we don't want theory and sales pitches. We want your experience in implementing such a complex hybrid cloud environment. And what are the things that you can help us, right? So in a nutshell, I think merging our internal IT and SSG has actually created a new opportunity for us in Lenovo, in SSG, and also for our customer. And we believe that Lenovo powers Lenovo is really our secret sauce to set us apart from the other offerings in the market.
Yeah, so Ken, I really like the move, and what I'm looking forward to is when we talk again, talking about how people have tested even more of your services internally. So, them actually doing things as a service, I think would be super, super compelling.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I thought was a really good message is that, and I follow your earnings every quarter, not because I'm a financial analyst, but as an tech industry analyst, it is the purest form of communication there is, right? Because it's bound by so many regulations. But what I liked, what you did is you talked about SSG first, right? Before client computing and before your data center group, which I thought was a good message, right? Which is, let's start with services. By the way, you're the only vendor in your class that does that. I thought that was good. So a few weeks ago, you announced your earnings results from the third quarter of the fiscal year, which is the fourth calendar quarter of 21. And once again, the company really showed some great progress out there. And it appears to me that SSG is one of the primary engines of Lenovo's growth in recent quarters. Can you give us a little bit of color on what is really driving SSG's growth?
Thank you, Patrick, especially your nice word. We have been humble, but I have to say it has been a record year for us in Lenovo. So I think I really need to thank our team and especially our partners and customers. So yes, I think we have been delivering great values to our customers, and as you said, that is reflected in our results, right? Now, when we look at the market, right, it is estimated that the IT service market represent a more than $1 trillion opportunity all the way to 2025. It's huge, right? In our most recent quarter earnings announcement for the period that end December last year, right? We're already in 2022. SSG's operating profit actually improved 44% on a year-to-year basis, and we're still maintaining a very high margin, operating margin, what I said, right? And this is for sure for the front running the Lenovo Group overall. In addition to profitability, our revenue also has grown over 25% to 1.5 billion last quarter.
Yeah.
And this again shows the strong demand of our customer regarding IT services. Now, let me give you a little bit of granularities here, right? First, our close to the box or support services revenue actually rose by 21%. It's simply because of the attach rate for support services grew across all our hardware categories. But we definitely have offer which beyond just around hardware. It was growth in managed services and project services and solution, which is the other two towers of the three towers of SSG.
Right.
And it's actually going even much faster, right? We drove 50% revenue growth in the managed service and as a service category under TrueScale, which continue to gain a lot of good momentum in the market. And last, but definitely not the least, project services and solution revenue, which come from tightly integrated solution which includes hardware, software, and services, was also up by 23% on a year-to-year basis, despite all the challenges that you can name in the market, right? So with this level of growth we have seen in last quarter and also the previous quarter, I think we have confidence that our strategy and our operation is on track, and also getting the buy-in of our customer and business partners.
Yeah, I think it took a lot of courage to break out SSG, because financial analysts and investors just will stare at this, and you have people like me asking a bunch of questions, but you did it for a reason, and it's getting attention. And obviously not only from your customers, but also that's translating into wins in your P&L, and it's really good to see.
Yeah, but trust me, this is not simple, and it takes a lot of technicality and also courage to get it done, right?
Listen, I hear you, which is one of the reasons I spent 20 years in big tech, and it's much easier to be a pundit than it is to actually do the work, Ken. Yeah. So I've talked about this before, but congratulations on the success. And listen, I've known Lenovo for over 20 years, and I know that good isn't good enough, and you're going to keep on charging. So I can't wait to see what's next. So I saw recently that you brought out results of a really interesting CIO survey, and you talked a little bit about it in the very beginning. It gave some really great insights into the challenges that IT organizations are facing today. And I think it also shines a light on how much the role of the CIO has changed over the past few years. Can you tell us more about what you learned with your research?
Well, I'm more than happy to share that, Patrick. So yes, I think I mentioned also in my earlier answers, right? So we did a global survey which involved more than 500 CIOs, right, from different parts of the world, and the insights we've got are actually fascinating. So a few things, right? So number one is the majority of the CIO that we surveyed said, the role of the CIO has dramatically evolved, right? Especially over the last 2 years, right? For obvious reason. Now, the CIOs also found themselves, right, gaining greater influence in the C-suite, right? Given how they are more involved and more than ever in areas outside the traditional technology purview, such as business model transformation, corporate strategy, and the hot topic around sustainability. At the same time, the changes actually brought a lot more complexity to the job of CIOs today. Now, 82% of the CIOs say their role has become more challenging compared with just 2 years ago. Now, issues such as security and keeping pace with the technology changes has become the front and center as more people adopt to flexible, working model. Now, as a result, CIOs are turning to vendors like us to help them to solve the problems in the next 5 years, including increasing their organization agility, providing security for their company's system and operations, and simplifying the configuration, deployment, and maintenance of the technology. Now, another data point here, 8 in 10 CIOs even agree that their tech vendors are so effectively integrated that it increases their overall productivity. And another point I would like to highlight is nearly all CIOs, right? If you want numbers, I think is more than 90% of the CIO would add new as a service offerings over the next 2 years, right? And in fact, in industry forecasts by, for example, TBR indicate that device subscription services are growing at a CAGR of 26% from now till the end of 2024. And if we look at data center subscription services, they are growing even faster at 42% CAGR for the same period of time. So we definitely recognize that business leader would rather focus their resources and time on, again, innovation and value creation, rather than just managing IT. And this is exactly where we, Lenovo, comes in, right? Our customer can leverage our, broad portfolio of IT offerings to, really unleash and harness the full power of their technology, right? So, they can scale with lower costs and, reap greater efficiency. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our deep history and expertise in, what we are offering, and especially our customer-centric approach, really set Lenovo Solutions apart. So CIO, for CIOs, I think Lenovo can take care of their organization's IT needs so that they can be more focused on their strategic imperatives.
Listen, I'm on the phone with a CIO probably at least once a week, and the conversations that we had even pre-pandemic were challenging because the rate of change and everything that their organizations were asking them to do was very overwhelming. And I like to very simply look back in history, and the reason the rate of change is increasing, it's not your imagination, it's because the latest technology is creating the next generation technology. So it has this compounding effect of what's possible. And then you put some of the pressures of work from home and remote, and now you add this hybrid element in some regions. It just becomes completely overwhelming. And at the end, what senior management will tell me, and this is the CEO and the board, is at the bottom line is we need to focus on what our core competency is and what differentiates us in the marketplace. So maybe we can let a vendor like a Lenovo take care of more of our IT than we did before. Super interesting comment, by the way, on how CIOs viewed the vendors themselves as integrated. I find that fascinating. So if you want CIOs to look to Lenovo for the future and help navigate them and their digital transformations, should give you a super unique perspective on how the IT world is evolving. So I'd like to put you on the spot here and ask you, get your take on what are the biggest trends in transformation that CIOs should expect to see play out in the coming year.
Hey, thank you, Patrick. I wish I have the crystal ball, right? But I try my best, right? This is based on the data that we have got, and also the conversation that we have been having with all the people around us, customers and business partners, right? So I think in a nutshell, we see three trends, right? In our field, right? So the first one is flexible work. The second one is hybrid cloud, and the third one is everything around sustainability, right? So those are the three trends that we have seen in recently, right? And has been getting a lot of momentum. So we believe these will be the trend in the coming years now. So the first, the pandemic is actually, I think everyone knows the catalyst of flexible works. So 2 years ago, and when the viruses just started spreading, we started to see what we might call a new normal, right? But flexible work is no longer new, right? So it is pretty old to say new normal. I would just say this is just normal, right? I'm in Hong Kong and I'm working from home all the time because of the recent challenges, right? So with that, I think under this new hybrid working model requirement, we see our customers need support on advisory, collaboration as a service, the next generation service desk, virtual desktop infrastructure, and all the way to recycling and sustainability. And this is exactly why we at Lenovo has been doubling down on our digital workplace solution, right? Helping our customers to come up with the need on handling hybrid work. Second, I think when we talk about cloud infrastructure, I think many organizations are looking for the sweet spot between a private and a public cloud. Let me call it hybrid cloud, right? Yeah. So I strongly believe this trend will be here to stay. Because companies simply want flexibility in all these uncertainties that is happening around us. So as you know, I think hybrid cloud, I hope you agree with me, provides actually the best of the both worlds: the scalability of a public cloud, and also the security of your own private data centers, for example. And our customers are seeking support from a service provider who has gone through this journey themselves and know exactly where the pain points are and how to navigate them successfully. So this is exactly our TrueScale everything as our offering portfolio, which serve the customers' needs precisely. Now, last but not least, this is my favorite topic, right? Because recently my daughter is getting into university, and one of the subject that she picked is actually environmental science, right? So I'm really into this topic. Now, you call it green services, or we at Lenovo call it sustainability services. Regardless, right? Continue to be, in our opinion, a top priority. And even in for IT, for CIOs, right? So today, the organization understand that sustainability is not just good for their image. It's not just services. It is becoming essential to their business, right? And among all the thing that is happening in the sustainability sector, right? I think we in the IT industry really plays a key role in moving from a linear to a circular economy, right? So consumer and stakeholders are demanding much more than lip services on this issue. And as a matter of fact, right, many times when I go to customer pitches, right, our customers ask about our green services, knowing how much we bake ESG into Lenovo's DNA, right? So it is exciting to see many organizations starting to develop real strategy for decreasing their impact on the environment. And here, again, Lenovo is leading by example, and we partner with other organizations to share best practices and know-how. Let me give you some examples, right? So there's a lot of number I'm trying to share, because I think the numbers will give you a sense about where we are and what kind of progress are we making. So the number one is, by the end of this fiscal year, we at Lenovo will have offset over 750,000 metric tons of CO2, right? Which supporting the United Nations Climate Action Project around the world. And by the fiscal year 25-26, we will remove 1 million tons of greenhouse gas emission from our supply chain, right? We indeed are also the first company on the planet to offer CO2 offset services to our customer. Now, at our product level, we have increasingly been using more recycled materials and components, and we are setting a pretty aggressive target to make 100% of PC product with post-consumer recycled materials in 4 years' time. So we are definitely serious about reducing our carbon footprint and the impact on the environment. And as such, I think most recently, our effort, right, was recognized by the investment community, where we received the IT industry's highest overall score in the 2021 Hang Seng Corporate Sustainability Index, right? And this is an index coming out from the Hong Kong Hang Seng Index company. It is also where we are listed. Lenovo is listed here in Hong Kong. So I can go on and on, Patrick, because I could not stress enough how important sustainability is, not just to our business, but also to the future generations.
Yeah, so I appreciate you personalizing it as well with your daughter. And, it's interesting. There are lots of different points of view about sustainability across the globe. But one thing I found that everybody agrees on is getting more efficient and using less to do more. Okay. And regardless of what side I've seen on sustainability, everybody seems to agree on that, which I think is really inspiring, whether you're a Gen Z or a boomer. It's good. And by the way, on flexible work, people thought I was crazy about 6 months ago when I said, hey, you thought remote work was hard. How about hybrid, right? People are going to go back into their offices and realize that the experiences they're having and the equipment they have are just not cutting it. And a lot of the CIOs that I've talked to are really interested in doing PC more as a service, and not just because you have employees spread out everywhere, and they want consistent ways to communicate and collaborate, whether you're in your house, in a cube at the office, at a huddle room, or in a conference room. They want some consistency there. And there, again, this whole theme of I have a lot of things to do and not enough people to do it is a services opportunity. And I do think, based on your portfolio and experiences, you can provide that. Hybrid cloud, 3 years ago, the discussion ended on, is the hybrid cloud real? What happened 3 years ago? Well, a certain cloud native provider got into the hybrid cloud business. And now you have cloud native providers providing hybrid cloud, and you now have traditional IT providers providing hybrid cloud. That says enough to me when every vendor's doing hybrid cloud, is that there's a requirement. And there's really no way that putting everything in the public cloud can be effective when, particularly when you're a multinational, when you factor in particularly the edge, it's just not a very efficient way to do it. I'm not a public cloud denier. I promise. I do a lot of research on the public cloud, but we all finally agree that the combination of public, private, colo, and on-prem is going to be the wave of the future. And I'm glad that you see that as an opportunity, and you're layering on top of that a true scale method of consuming that. So, wow, super exciting stuff, Ken. We're talking about here, and we went all the way from why you were formed to how you're differentiated to what you're offering to mega trends out there that we can help with. And I just want to thank you for being on the show, and we hope to have you here again.
For sure. Thank you, Patrick, for the opportunity to exchange ideas. And we're always looking for feedback as we grow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's something that I've noticed in our calls that we've had together, is you've been very open for suggestions. And you may have even taken a few. It's okay. I'm an analyst. You don't have to take all the things I suggest. But what that indicates to me is that you're open for change, and you want external feedback to make SSG the best that can happen. And I will tell you, that doesn't happen with every company. Okay, let me be very clear. So I appreciate it, and I think ultimately your partners will. And by the way, if you're watching today, you can access the research that was discussed here in the show notes, and we're going to have a couple other interesting links. But with that, Ken, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I like thank the audience for tuning in. Until next time, this is Pat Moorhead with more insights and strategy for our MIS podcast. Take care. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great morning wherever you